Dark rain clouds hang heavily over the ruined keep, as the storm creates a smothering blanket of privacy for the party. The group sit comfortably in the relative quiet of the keep as the storm batters the walls outside, just the wailing of a draught through the cracks in the walls and the stuttering of the oil lamp on the wall. Serene sits next to Horatia, dwarfed by his size, if not his ego, her dark hair plastered against her sweating forehead and chin pushed forward as she revealed the truth about her mission. She's here to hunt dragons, a mission that was laughed away by Horatia before Adalbert calmly pointed out they could be real. A feeling of hatred, sadness and pain fills the room, seemingly emanating from Serene, who claims she cannot stop it. Who claimed in fact it was a test for dragons. Raina, a guest at the Ruin Keep, and an envoy for the Empress of Eresia, has been sitting quietly taking notes, but became the focus of attention when Serene called her pureblood. She doesn't look like a dragon. In fact, she is a poised young woman with Asian features and long black hair pinned up with a white sari and a sky blue sash around her shoulders. Her koto, a small box-like instrument with strings, is propped up against the table leg, and she has a small notebook on the table full of scribblings from earlier. Zaymar stands against the wall, edging slightly away from Serene, while Alithia threw poisonous dust in Serene's face and is fully prepared to do the same with Sacred Flame. It's fair to say negotiations are tense. And that is where we will begin. However, I have a small announcement to make before we do. And that is that we have been working in collaboration with Maps and Quest. So, hello again. And he has done an amazing job of creating the Ruined Keep, which I will now bring up on stream. So we now have a full grounds and keep in beautiful styling. So this is very cool. So Maps and Quest.
Nice.
Thank you very much for doing this.
It's so nice. Oh my god.
Excellent.
Beautiful.
This is good.
It's
Well
great.
done.
It's the first time we've all seen it as well.
That's mad.
So Maps and Quest is the self-proclaimed world's okayest purveyor of D&D and TTRPG combat and encounter maps. So I'm just going to put his... So he's on Twitter under Unquests. I'll put the link in here. And this is his little Twitter description, which I think is awesome. So yeah, we've got a couple of maps ready for
This looks awesome.
tonight.
This is really good.
So
Thank you so
nice.
much
Thank you.
for sticking to the style. I know we've got a weird inverted style. It looks really good, actually. This looks...
That's incredible, man.
Mhm.
Oh, I love it. It's like art. It's like literally art.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
That is lush.
This is cool.
So that's the path down to the wall.
Oh, brilliant. It's all there.
Yeah,
And
it's
then
all
you got
there.
the curtain wall in there. Oh,
Yeah, they got the
fantastic.
cutting wall all around the edge. Yeah.
Wow.
You need to zoom in at some point. Oh my god, there's the curtain wall with bushes. That's brilliant. This is cool.
It's so nice. Oh my god.
Oh, this is good. Right, okay. I need to stay in character. I was like, important.
Okay, so thanks very much, Maps and Quest. That was an awesome job. If anyone wants some maps, then you should definitely contact them. They do great work. Right, cool. Okay, so as I was saying, Serene is glaring at you, Horatia. Raina has a notebook in front of her, and the last thing that was said was that Serene is a dragon hunter, and you are all sitting in a test for dragons. Oh, hi, Rachel. Thanks for following.
Zamar is going to edge his way away from the wall a little bit. Raise a glass, the rather grubby glass from the keep.
Okay.
So, Serene, tell me, the Huntress, is that why you call her the Huntress?
Yeah, partly.
You were saying the Huntress is some sort of dragon hunter.
She started it, yeah.
Indeed. And so this test of yours, we can be sure that Rayna here is not a dragon.
No, but as best we know, it takes time. It's not a simple thing. It's a lot of different signs. Rayna isn't showing many of them. She'll probably be glad to hear.
Well, if Rayna follows the Huntress, it don't make much sense for her to be a dragon, now, does it?
There's a lot of things that don't make a lot of sense around here, as you know.
Seymour turns around to Adalbert. Did you know about this?
What in particular?
The dragons, the hunting.
I told you I knew dragons existed, but I thought they were long gone.
Yeah, but did you know that the Huntress was a dragon hunter or started it off, like Serene says?
No. Of all the deities in our world, the Huntress is one of the newer, nowhere near the age of the primordials. Ellie follows, for example. I believed that the dragons were gone before the Huntress ascended. I assumed, from my understanding, the Huntress's name came from her protection to those who seek to hunt down truth and honor and corruption.
I'm watching Serene's reaction to this description. I know she's hard to read, but...
Roll inside.
Don't know if I want to be associated in any way with something that kills. Like, dragons are still animals.
What was that, Zamar?
It was 22. Started well.
Yeah, she is hard to read. However, there's kind of a gleefulness when the topic is covered by Adalbert. Her eyes start shining in a way that you haven't really seen before. She actually looks excited by just the topic. But every now and then, as Adalbert speaks, there's like a flicker of something passing across her face, which is kind of arrogance and not quite going through her mind. Like, there's some things that Adalbert isn't quite getting, but according to her.
As this is all happening, Rayna turns slightly, like, she's still focused on Serene, but she turns slightly to Adalbert, and she'll go, Grand Inquisitor, do you know of any deities associated with dragons? Did they worship anyone? Or patron deities of any kind?
Do I say it?
Sorry, I was reading a direct message from someone. What was the question, Kevin?
Whether Adalbert knows anything about patron deities or any gods associated with dragons from that time that he knows about.
Roll religion.
18.
There is a tribe in Glatland that have a dragon as a deity, but they're a very small, little-known tribe. You're not even sure if they're still active. This is just something you read a long time ago in some books about other cultures.
My understanding, as I said before, we're currently in the sixth age of our world. Going back, we don't know much beyond the third age, which is known in intellectual circles as the age of mystery. And simply put, this is because we just don't know. But the fourth age, the age of the fallen empire, was so named because the empires before it disappeared from our world, and that empire, the Age of Mysteries empire, and earlier, was the age of dragons, and so it was the draconic empire that fell, that gave its name to the fourth age of our world. But as you can tell from that, the Age of Mysteries, aptly named, I should say. We don't know much, but I don't know if they're still around, but there was a tribe in Glatland with a dragon as its deity. I haven't met them myself, only in scholarly pursuits have I encountered them. But beyond that, I could not tell you.
This is all fucking fascinating.
It is, isn't it?
We got an actual dragon probably coming to this keep, and sitting right there is someone who reckons they're a dragon hunter. Now, how well do you think that's going to go? What are we going to do?
Exit over here. I
should
recommend using. So
We should put Serene in the box.
The box?
My box. If it is a gift from the Huntress and not corruption, I don't understand what good that would do, Ellie.
Just keeps her out of the way.
Instead of being in a box, Serene.
While smirks.
I don't know where they've put you up, but as you can tell, and Annabelle looks around, while Horathia is a wonderful host, I'm not sure the beds will be the same quality. Would you care to stay at my house? I'd like to talk to you more about the school you went to and your learning of dragons. There is so much the world doesn't know because it isn't shared beyond the borders, and it will be fascinating to hear it from you.
How do you know your way is the only way, though? How do you know you only have...
Can you hear me, guys? Sorry, I'm having issues with audio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just clear it up. Yeah.
Okay, fine. Why can't you just, uncorrupt them instead? They're still animals. They're still beings.
You know me, Ellie. I don't harm unless I have to. I suppose the issue is, if I'm correct from what Serene was saying, the dragons are more easily corrupted. So while I could remove the corruption, it would mean that it's possible and likely it would return again.
Dragons are very, very arcane related. Anything arcane related is going to be susceptible to corruption.
Right. Stop me if I'm wrong, right? What we've all been fighting against is corruption, right? Now, I'm quite happy to kill a few forgotten tribe if I can kill them all, to be honest, because they're all fucking corrupted. Now, ain't it actually the corruption we're trying to get rid of? I mean, ultimately. So, what can we do there instead of attacking dragons? I mean, it seems like a fucking stupid thing to do if they're that fucking hard. There's a whole country of them, according to Serene.
Also, it's mean. Why should we go around killing people? We should get rid of corruption.
Yeah,
This is all very high and mighty idea, but if it was that simple, we would have already done it. Don't you think?
Yeah, well,
I ain't saying
maybe
it's.
you haven't
I ain't
thought
saying it's
about it.
simple. But we need to find that pipsqueak, Aldrin, and fucking chop his head off.
I will
Again,
ask next time
Child murder, not that high on my list, Ratty.
Oh, you reckon he's still a child? And children do what we saw in the jungle? Don't think so.
I find it interesting to think that perhaps he certainly acts like a child, but I would not believe that. Anyway, so I turn to Serene. So, what's your plan? What do you intend to do if the princess arrives?
Well, it seems to me, like looking around at you, I don't have a lot of support in this room. So, I reckon if the princess is coming here, best plan for me is to quietly
Run
leave.
away.
You know, for once I agree with her. Besides, I already name-dropped you to the princess. So, she probably is going to be a bit suspicious if she actually sees you. I don't really fancy it all kicking off. At least not until I get a good night's sleep.
Yeah, I can understand that. You look knackered.
But that's just how he generally looks. Sorry.
Kevin, you were going to say something earlier.
I'm sorry, this escaped me. I'll
No,
come
no worries.
back to it.
There was a moment when everyone was trying to talk at the same time. All right, so Serene takes that as a goodbye, pushes the chair back, stands up, and looks around at all of you. All right, well, this information that I've just talked to you about is pretty important to keep quiet, mainly because the reaction you had, Arathia, is similar to what most people say. They don't believe it, and then they get angry about it.
I didn't get angry.
So, we find a dragon. Is there a way to contact you? If we need
No!
someone dealing with,
Yeah, you could send a pigeon.
to
I'll
I
give you
imagine I
some.
can get word to Serene for the Huntress if we need to.
I don't think we should go around killing. But Serene, does this way of life make you happy?
Do I look happy?
No.
I think she's very happy.
That answers your question. I do what I have to do.
Well, maybe we could work out a different way of doing things.
You have your talks. See if you can work anything out, by talking. And I'll go off and do stuff. How about that?
I'm not saying it's about talking. I think we need to look for what is actually causing it. There's something underneath. There's something not right. And just killing indiscriminately, that's not going to help anything.
It's not indiscriminate. It's killing dragons. It's quite specific. If I understand the meaning of the word indiscriminate.
Before you go, is there any
Well-
way that we can... It's really important. Is there any way that we can find out if there's any dragons that we come across? We encountered the princess and we had no idea. Is there anything that you can help us with?
I said I've been to dragon school. I didn't say I am dragon school. Listen, I think this conversation is gone as useful as it's going to get, so I'm off. Olivia, if you think of anything, great, go for it. But right now, all we have is they're dangerous, they need putting down. That's our position at the
You kill
moment.
Forgotten Tribe as well, just like that.
Sometimes, yeah.
Well then, it is indiscriminate. You're literally killing everything that has potentially been corrupted.
No, literally
Corruptible.
killing everything that is corrupted. That's
Yeah,
the
I ain't got a
distinction.
problem with that. Right. Where are you going to be now? Because you're still waiting on the Mark. He's going to show up pretty soon.
I'm going to
What
be
then?
down there. And she points towards the harbour.
Right, on your ship.
Yeah.
In dock or what?
Yeah, be around for a bit. It's pretty early in the morning. We need to get a bit of rest before we leave. We'll see how this conversation goes, you know? See what trouble you get into, Garcia.
Don't worry about me.
Well, it's clear that we all need rest, so perhaps we'll bid you good evening, and then
Good night.
Right, Horatio will gesture to the guard who should be opposite Baha.
Yep.
Indicate, well, using thieves' camp to give Serena weapons back when she leaves. Outside of the keep.
Sorry, I forgot there was a guard there. It's a very big guard right now. Hang on.
I'm going to turn to Samita and say, don't you feel sad for her, Samita?
So Reyna is actually focused on Serene. So as you say this, she'll just kind of like, almost out of, forgetting her disguise for a moment, just go like, hold on. Serene, just a moment.
Serene stops in the doorway and looks back again at you.
I'll get up and I actually move a bit towards her, leaving like a meter and a half or so between us, and I'll just ask, who convinced you that this was something to dedicate your life to? Who taught you? Who told you all of these things? Can you give me a name? Anything that we might know?
The Huntress. We already talked about this. The Huntress.
The Huntress.
The
directly.
god. The Huntress.
That's it.
Yeah. That's the mission. Why are you asking?
Just curious. I like to know things. Thank you. Apologies. It's been a long day.
Okay.
Her face will fall and turn around.
What is the expression that's going on your face at the moment?
Well, she was very eager. The sort of young woman asking question, like she got carried away a little bit. But when she turns around, I think for the party, she'll show that like she's disappointed with the answer. She's definitely, kind of the face falls away for a moment as she goes to sit back down.
Okay.
But yeah, she was mainly curious towards Serene.
Okay. Send me by Discord what you're thinking and roll either deception or persuasion.
All right, 1 second.
30. Do you think she's for real? Do you really think your huntress would be like that? Telling people to kill?
the name is the Huntress, I think.
But that doesn't mean... So, there is the circle of life and death and, growth and destruction. These things exist and that's normal. But this is outside of that. It's kind of like a cold-blooded sort of... Yeah, it does... Sorry? No, like...
I wonder, Ellie, if part of your concern is the fact the creature is a dragon and rare. I wonder, and I say this with the best intentions, knowing that you understand, I wonder, would you be the same level of concern if it was a cruel, evil man like the lords we met? All life is precious, I agree, and dragons, I thought were extinct, were gone from our world. So to hear they exist, it's amazing, and what we could learn, what we could discover.
Before killing them.
No.
Kind of side eyes at Zema. It's beyond anything I could hope for.
You know what your problem is? And I'll gesture largely at Lithia. You just don't realise how the world actually works.
No, I think you
you
guys
people,
don't
right,
realize
you
how the
don't-
world works.
No, you know what? The people in power look nice and clean, but they're the dirtiest fucking people on the planet. Because it's their orders that get carried out by people like me. It's the way the world works. People need eliminating, things need killing. You just don't like the look of it when you're up and close.
There's a balance, you know? Like a jaguar goes and kills, and that's okay. Like, that's life. But when a jaguar doesn't just go and hunt a specific sort of bird and gets rid of all of them, that's not how nature works. And when we kill those lords, well, they were doing more damage overall. So it needed to be done.
You can say the same about corruption, can't you?
But the dragons aren't just corruption themselves. I think they've got a chance to be corrupted, but that doesn't mean they're automatically corrupted. You could say the same about Bertie and myself. We've got chances to be corrupted because of the powers we hone from the gods.
Well, if you don't want them killed, then you need an alternative, don't you? So Adalbert, right? He can get rid of corruption using his box and shit. But unless he can stop something from being corruption, then people like Serene and the Huntress are still going to want them dead. And with good reason.
I think that maybe you need to speak to the Huntress some more, Adalbert. This is outside of my wheelhouse. But if you speak to the Huntress, there may be another way. Look, the gods have work in strange ways, and they know more than any of us do. I think there's something more.
I shall see what I can do, and I can think. I can... The way I see it, I can remove corruption in the moment. My mask can protect against corruption. It was made by... This is an old mask. I'm learning what I can about it, and hopefully I'll be able to create things that do similar effect. But at the moment, there is no antidote for corruption. I will look into what I can. This is my life's work.
And there's nobody else in your order who knows anything like that.
Oh, yes. Back in Dampao.
So why don't we ship one of them over and they can do it?
We have. That's why I set up the university in this old castle. You gave me money to rebuild it.
Yeah, and I get that. So you're saying these people in the university can create some sort of spell that stops people getting corrupted?
Not indefinitely. It's a shield, if you will.
Well, it's better than nothing. Can I suggest that perhaps with the princess due to arrive, that we might all be better off if we rested somewhat?
Pardon. And Reyna will look up from her notebook. But before we move on from this conversation, and I'll turn to the Grand Inquisitor. Grand Inquisitor, I've been listening very carefully, and she'll look sideways at Harathir for a moment as well. Please understand that I have no agenda in this conversation, but I feel it must be mentioned. We are working off many, many assumptions at this point. The fact that dragons are easily corrupted, that they exist, that they somehow are both highly magical, and yet while the Grand Inquisitor's colleagues are able to provide temporary shielding, they can somehow not protect themselves, and that it is right to hunt them for all these reasons. These are many, many assumptions which are dangerous, I believe, to accept as is. Do we have any other possible sources that we might tap into regarding any of this lore?
well, we have those books. I don't know if that would help. A gesture to the chest that I brought up from below. I'm sure Adalbert will find something there.
There was
books that came from a sage. He was in it's Louth, right? Or was he
in Louth? Yeah.
Yeah. I met a sage in Louth, and while I was out and exploring the town, he was very knowledgeable, and he had a huge amount of books. And anyway, he was shipping his entire, or the most important books, on a boat. And yes, we managed to acquire the boat since it was coming around a smuggling route. And yes, that's these here, you see before you. I'm not much of a reader myself, but I'm sure somebody can go through them.
I'll take them off your hands, Amar. I shall read them. To answer your question, as I said, the Age of Dragons is an age of mystery. We don't know much about it, and that's that. I was in the Great Library in Bevezas before we returned to Trillin after meeting the Empress. I was not specifically looking for dragon information. Why would I?
Why would you?
Exactly. But there is just so little lasting information from that time. As I said, there's the possibility of that tribe in Glatland, which may know more, but that's if they even exist. Zema, would your pigeon network or your other networks be able to get information?
Information from where? Louth? Across the seas? In Bevezas?
I don't know. This is your area far better than mine. I know knowledge, you discover it through your various means.
Well, there are some people who I can call on. Sideways glance at Arathia. Let us just say there's a shipping network out there that we can call on for supplies. But I have regular communications with Louth, although it is locked down now that the Forgotten Tribe have taken over, and they are doing strange things there. So I have not communicated recently, but I could send something over there to inquire. My guess is that, why don't you send me a list of your demands, and then I will see to it that they are dispelled.
Yeah, let's do that. Fine. Boy, Adalbert. Now, the princess disappeared to get changed, supposedly. Now, can you find out from the Astrali when she's likely to turn up? Because we could all do with a rest.
I asked Derek to let me know when they were returning. I have not heard yet.
Yeah, but he can let you know, and they'll be here like 20 minutes later.
If we have enough time to sleep.
Let's just try.
So,
What's the time?
Mads has jumped into chat and initiated a message from the gods using her own points.
Is that illegal?
Yeah, but it wasn't for any of us. It was for Kevin.
For Kevin.
So, Kevin, you're not one of us. No.
You're like, and you're not a regular. We can spend all of our money on you.
Yes.
Okay.
So we've given you your own special arch up above.
Wow. Harsh.
You need to look down on us like this.
Yeah, sorry. I'll play like this from now
on. So, Kevin, while this happens, is there any change in demeanour or anything visible? So, others should know that Renner is kind of absent-mindedly plucking at the strings of her koto, which is currently leaning against the table leg. But is there anything else that you want to describe while this happens?
No, well, it depends. Does my roll from previously still count?
Yes.
Okay. In that case, no, absolutely none. She simply continues listening in on the conversation, looking interested, making notes, etc., and continues on as though nothing had happened.
Okay. Meanwhile, Baha steps forward at your question, Horatia. He's currently standing behind Adalbert. So Baha is a bodyguard for Adalbert, an older elven male with a sort of calm demeanour and a gentle smile normally. And he speaks up. Horatia, we have 2 cohorts of the Black Legion here. And you are obviously the head of the Golden Leaf gang and own this keep. And we're also going to get Starrock here and all of his Astravi. And Serene is still in the harbour or somewhere nearby. So right now, this matter of the princess and whether she's corrupted is a matter for the Inquisitor. Protocol says for this, the Inquisitor is in charge.
Protocol? Didn't know we had any fucking protocol for dragons.
Well, I'm telling you, we have protocol for this situation. At where I will be responsible for communication, so I'll keep you updated with what's happening. If you have any instructions, then pass them on to me. The Astravi have let me know that they will be arriving in 10 minutes with the princess.
So no time for fucking kip anyway.
No, so much for rest.
However, you've all been sat on your asses for at least an hour talking, so you all get a short rest.
I'm sure I need one of those.
Well, at least to get some. I can get some. I'm quite okay with that. It's fine.
Reyna's doing good.
Reyna's been sitting playing the bloody lute or whatever.
How do I get back my hit die? I've never done this before.
You have a number of hit die based on how many hit dice you have at your level.
Yeah, so do I just roll?
Yeah,
Or do I use...
you choose how many hit dice you want to spend to get back.
And then I roll how many? D&D Beyond doesn't do this for you?
Yeah, it does.
It does.
It doesn't roll the hit points though.
It doesn't add the hit points.
No, it doesn't. You got to do that yourself.
Yeah, I was just going to say.
All right, so I've taken some benefit from that.
I need to do the same. Ooh. Hey.
What's the time again? So I know I probably asked that last week.
Sorry, you did ask just now, and I didn't get around to speaking on that. We've had another 20 minutes, so it's 3:20 in the morning.
Seems to me like we meet with a find some place for to stay, and then we meet tomorrow. This sort of time in the morning is no good for making good decisions.
Well, I agree with that, but best laid plans. Let's try.
Right, so Bar, you're saying I need to leave this whole meeting in the hands of Adalbert, is that what you're saying?
No, what I'm saying is that the Astravi take his commands, as do the soldiers of the Golden Leaf in this time, until the Inquisitor has made his decision on the state or otherwise of the princess.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
Harathi, you can take the full lead in the conversation. When we met the princess, she, for some reason, viewed you as the authority figure, Lord Harathia. And my taking the lead there would not do any of us any good.
All right. Where are we going to put her up then? Assuming she sleeps. The dragons fucking sleep, who knows?
I don't think it's wise to call her a dragon.
I ain't going to do that to her face.
Do
Perhaps we
you
should start
need
now.
help being a bit more charming, Horatia? Or should I leave my help for Adelbert?
Nah, it ain't going to do no good for me. I'm fucking charming already.
Roll persuasion. No,
Oh dear.
no, yeah, don't worry. I'm joking.
No, exactly. Oh, that was just interesting. Yeah, anyway, that would have been funny.
My thoughts, Baha and Harathi, if you agree, is when we do meet with the princess, we should give her a royal welcome with an honor guard. Have some troops ready, lay the line, allow her to walk down. Show her our power, but also the respect that a princess would deserve. Then, if things do take a turn for the worse, we have troops, we have individuals not on the other side of town.
And where do you suppose these troops are going to be? In the grounds of the keep? I ain't very keen on that.
There are troops.
Yeah, so you heard Bar. They're under Adelbert's control. This here keep is my fucking place.
Where would you recommend a royal meeting to take place?
Look, if she's coming to Trillian, the place to meet is here. Now, you can arrange your troops outside of the keep and line the entranceway if you want, but they ain't coming in unless all shit kicks off.
Very well, up the hill, along the path.
Yeah, of course, the Astrari fly, so they're just as likely to land in the courtyard.
Where they land is up to Adelbert.
All right. If you want her to go through some sort of honor guard, and you're probably right, shit like that's important. Queens and princesses and shit. Land her outside, walk her through a whole bunch of the troops, and then into the keep.
I turn to Baha and nod.
Okay, right. So,
Is there any sense of like pride or recognition on his face?
no, he's in serious mode. He's watching very carefully and listening, and then passing on the instructions. So, he's very much more concerned about what you are organising than how cute you are.
But he also thinks you're cute.
Of course.
That goes without saying.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so you want them to be out in the courtyard. Whereabouts would you like?
No, I don't want them in the courtyard. I don't want them anywhere in the grounds of the keep at all. I want them outside. Is in.
Oh, outside the curtain wall, you mean?
That's absolutely right.
Isn't it raining?
It is
It's always
raining,
raining.
yes, it's always raining.
Didn't we make a canopy or something for her?
In 10 minutes.
An umbrella? Something to, like, go over the top of her?
The Astravi can use their wings as a canopy. If I'll let them know if it's appropriate to shelter from the rain. Though I fear she's as used to it as we are, unfortunately.
Well, of course she's used to it. She was a scruffy thing in the forest, but like if we're doing a song and a dance, then and she's got changed, then she probably doesn't want to get wet. No.
So time is running out on the decision. I don't have outside the curtain wall, so I'm going to reuse this centre bit and say this is the road outside the ring keep. So you can either land on the road or off to the side, up to you. How many guards do you want, Adalbert?
How many can you afford to lose?
Meant to be an honor guard progression, so it needs to be a good display.
More than 6, I'm thinking.
Well, you can have up to 400, so...
Oh, God.
50?
50. Right.
Oh, no.
I think she's not worth flowers, but don't tell her that. So I can make it, I can make, leaves fall in front of her where she walks, like a carpet.
Wow. Pulling out all the stops.
I mean, that would be very welcoming.
Once she comes into the keep, I'm not going outside.
Zamar is not going anywhere outside the keep. He's going to spend his time peering through the wall of the meeting room.
Meanwhile, 50 guards are jogging from the other side, which is quite a distance away, to arrive at the location.
Get something to go above her, like, I don't know, something waterproof that we can carry over her, like with sticks. This is not hard, people.
Are umbrellas a thing? I mean, you know, culture.
No.
Like, can we not get a canopy on sticks, some cloth, and then we hold it and we take it alongside her, over the top of her?
I like your use of the we when you said you're not going outside.
I'm not doing it.
I'll be right back.
I will ask the Astravi to raise, who flank her to raise a wing to protect her as she walks under.
That's not as good as us.
Okay, so for example, you're thinking of having her land at one end and then walk all the way along beneath the wings to the other end where you'll all be waiting, right? Something like that.
Well, where I think Harathi and I will be waiting, I'm not sure Zama or Ilya going outside.
Zama might be observing from the safety of a distance, but yeah, I don't know. If Harathi glares at me, I'll turn up. Okay. I did, after all, give her the... No, Zama will be there.
How far is it? Within 30 feet?
Of what?
Me, like the end. So if I stand with... if I stand with Adalbert, is the end of the procession within 30 feet?
Of what?
Of me.
Well, you can stand within 30 feet of the end, and then yes.
Yeah, no. So if I stand at the very end, is the beginning of it within 30 feet?
Oh, for the entire... Oh, I see what you mean, sorry. No. There's a lot of guards.
Yeah.
You could walk backwards. It depends. I don't know what you're thinking. But...
I am not going to walk backwards. She scares the shit out of me. I'm not going any closer than I have to. Okay. I'm just going to make the beautiful falling leaves as when she gets within 30 feet of me. Just like not all the way in front of her. So it. Well, we'll see what happens.
Okay.
If Zamar is aware of your plans, he will. Would you mind making it? If you're going to do your magic thing, would you mind making it
Power of the gods.
It's
going to be leaves. Are you scared of leaves, Zamar?
I'm scared of what she might do if she's jumpy about leaves and who she might kill. So yes, just make it non-threatening. Can you make it blossom or something like that?
I don't want to give her flowers. Flowers are for nice people.
Excellent. She's going to be doused in wet leaves. This is marvelous.
I'll make them nice smelling.
If I may, just throughout all of this, at some point, Reina would have mentioned, when we leave this room, I will be Sumita.
Wait, you changed?
She just smiles and pats Ellie on the shoulder and moves on.
Whereabouts are you going to be? If this is the group.
I would like to be as close to Harathir as would be, proper.
Okay.
And can I just point out again that Bron has sidled up next to me and Zamar's immediately going to go round to the other side. Damn it. That bloody mutt is always on my heels. Just walk around in a large arc.
Are you calling him a bloody mutt audibly?
No. That was his internal monologue, one of his rare internal...
I thought so, but I thought it best to clear that up.
He probably muttered it under his breath as he was walking away, but he would never do that. He would only do that when he probably got close to Baha or something like that. Oh, dear. Yeah.
As we're kind of walking outside, Aldri kind of turn to Sumita and say, as you can tell, we don't often get distinguished company at the keep. As a close friend, advisor to the Empress, is there anything we're missing in terms of an appropriate welcome?
Sumita just kind of gently looks around and smiles, perhaps slightly condescendingly. Just because, even just with her expression, she says many things are missing. Being used to a much grander sort of presentation, but she'll say nothing that strikes me immediately. And she'll lower her voice primarily so that Albert is the only one really listening. And she'll say, I think from your descriptions of the princess that the main thing will be to accommodate her, even in matters where we might not be willing. And her eyes are just boring a hole in Harathir's back when she says this.
Agreed.
Excellent. That's very diplomatic. Zamar will now look around and make sure he has a very good idea of where the closest way to take cover is. And then stand slightly uncomfortably at the end in the rain and pull his hood up.
Okay, so... Did you want to do that, Mads? You just sent me a message. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm just going to whisper to one of the guards on our way as we're making our way out to... making our way out to the front.
Okay. So just as everyone's lining up, so the soldiers that have arrived are wearing a simple chain shirt and they're holding a pike and a tower shield. And sorry, no tower shield. They're just holding pikes. And they all come to attention and stand in a line with the pikes up. In presentation, and you're kind of shuffling. Zamar's just shuffled around, pulling the cloak over your face. When a guard from the keep runs up with an item of clothing for Alithia.
Oh, thank you. Bertie, here you go. You should change.
And I will hold up his amazing Technicolor rainbow silk tunic that I bought him a long time ago.
Thank you. This gestures to kind of his own clothes. They are quite wet. Is there time though?
I don't know. You're the one in touch with the Astravi.
You are also technically in charge, so the Astravi can circle around while you get changed.
That's very true. Oh, I like power.
If you give that instruction to Baha.
Yes, why not? If the princess can get changed, I'm sure to put on a good impression. I'm sure I can as well. Thank you. And nod to kind of Baha. I'm just gonna go.
All right, I'll let them know that they should take the princess for a little tour of the keep visually from the air. Not that they can see much, but
Rathia's going to look down at his own clothes, at the mud and gore, and he's going to smile to himself.
It's been a while since you cleaned that up.
Is the guard still around to give the wet silks to?
No, the guard who handed the clothing over is from the keep, so they ran back to the keep. Baha just holds out a hand.
Thank you, Baha. I saw you peeking, by the way. I smiled coyly.
No, you didn't. All right. After a moment's pause, you hear the wind thrashing in the wings of the Astravi. They swoop down, and there's the same 50 that you saw before. A cloud of dark wings and humanoid bodies flying through the rain in the early morning light. And they drop the princess at the end of the line and then form a winged cover all the way down.
I'm gonna.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm gonna turn around to Adalbert. I'll touch her shoulder and say, "Good luck, Marty. The gods bless you." Yeah. So you've got a D4 extra for a check. I think it is. Yes.
Okay.
Any check. Yeah.
You don't need to roll insight to see that the Astravi who are putting their wings up all look pretty pissed off at this. They're not happy being a rain protector. They don't understand. And they sort of sidelong glance at each other while they're doing it and shuffle slightly embarrassed. Meanwhile, the princess has landed. She has completely changed. She's wearing a black lace outfit. She's got a mask now over one side of the face and a spray of black feathers up behind her head. And a long black silk gown with lace trim and bare feet. And she lands on the ground and looks at the honour guard. Sort of looks them up and down, analysing them for something, you're not sure what. Her eyes are currently a dull blue. There's no light coming from them. They seem fairly normal. Her face is human. And she's got her black hair has been combed through as best as she could. It's still quite matted from the rain. So she looks a bit more presentable. And she seems to be staring directly at Alithia. I don't know whether that was intentional, but you are currently slap bang in the middle of the walk.
Oh shit. I'm going to. What did I do with the Empress? I'm going to think back to everything I did with the Empress, and then I'm going to like curtsy, and then skitter behind someone taller than me.
Okay, so it's quite a long walk. So you're gonna. You could sort of jump over Bran and go behind Arathia, maybe?
The other way. Maybe I'll go behind Bertie. Yeah, there you go.
Rathia's going to step forward anyway.
Okay, fine. So when the Herathia steps forward, I'll like hide behind it.
All right. So there's this
So
very slow processional feeling as she walks down the honor guard through the rain, and each step, the mud and the rainwater splashes up from her feet, and she's holding your gaze, Horatia. Her head is tilted slightly to one side, and there's like a small smile that she's trying to keep away from her mouth. But she walks very calmly and seems perfectly happy, taking all the time that is needed for
So
a sedate walk.
When she's 30 feet away, I'll like make it start drifting down pretty petals that smell like fresh and green.
Okay. As soon as the petals start falling.
Not petals, sorry, not petals. Leaves, because she doesn't. She's not allowed petals.
Okay.
Got Xavier's hopes up there.
If I could step next to Adalbert, by the way, since that spot is now open. Forward, if possible. Yeah.
Okay. Let me just zoom in a little bit. Right, something like that.
Yeah, perfect.
All right, cool. So as the leaves fall, she looks up to the sky as if maybe there's some cause, and then looks at the leaves and actually stops, and just for a moment is enjoying the falling leaves and the rain, and is no longer paying anyone any mind. She's looking at these leaves.
Arthur starts to tap his foot slightly.
And then she starts walking again. And when she gets within about this distance, she glances over your shoulder, Horatia, and stops again, as if a train had hit her. And an expression passes over her face very briefly before she goes back to the slight, polite smile she had before.
Okay, I hate to ask, but can I interpret that look?
Sure, roll insight.
May I join that as well?
Yeah.
Then
Yeah, I think I have a pretty good idea what happened there.
Oh, sure, but you gotta roll it out, and so yeah, I don't know why I'm even looking at my bonus, like I have a bonus. 4.
22.
14.
Same up.
Oh, okay, I'll roll.
No, you don't have to. I thought
Okay, I wasn't going to. I was Zane was already convinced he knows exactly what's going on.
All right. So the 14s. Obviously, you can read something. You do see an expression pass over. Everyone saw her stop. The expression was quite complicated. There's a lot of emotion in that brief moment, so you're not quite sure what the emotion represents. And a bit like Serene, she's quite hard to read. Alithia, the expression was a mixture of shock, which was very easy to read, mixed with a bit of concern, some excitement, and not fear, but something related to that, which is much harder to read. There's a very subtle twinge of emotion to the edge of everything going on related to fear, but you're not quite sure what. Horatia, she's really taking a long time.
Yeah, he's going to diplomatically not tap his foot any harder than he already is.
Arashian Neil.
Who's Horatia?
I'll pause and then I'll step forward and kneel. And I'll be holding the face mask that I bought back in the capital.
Okay, and then she keeps walking. She comes up to you, Horatia, and she gives you a scan up and down, looking slowly over your clothing and your weapons. Lord Harathia.
Princess Mayanara, welcome to the ruined keep.
Thank you. It is a pleasure to be here. I am very happy to see this effort and very happy to see you again after our trouble in the jungle.
Now, the hour's late. Do you need somewhere to stay?
I did give you a list. One of those was accommodation.
Right. You can stay with Adalbert or Lithia. One is the fanciest house in town, the other's a tree.
Oh, it's a beautiful treehouse. I have tea. Although actually, it's quite hard to get up to, and there's leaks in the roof, so maybe not so good.
Zaymar Kryler basically pulls his his hood round over his face so he can laugh into the edge of his hood. He's glad that he's standing behind Baha and will basically remove it and then go back to basically crushing his fingernails into the palms of his hands.
It ain't a very fancy place. Those are the best two options available.
So she is currently leaning slightly because it's quite hard to see Alithia from there, and listening and looking at Alithia as she speaks, and then her gaze kind of and her head rotates slightly to look at Adalbert. And my dear friend, the Grand Inquisitor?
As Harathia said, my house is the one built of stone you would have seen flying over. There is a room if you need it.
I would like to use the accommodation of the Grand Inquisitor for discussions and conversation, if I may. And I will sleep in the tree.
Adalbert bows and smiles.
I am going to, let me roll a performance check. Oh my god, that's actually really good for one. So that's natural 20 minus 2.
Performance for what, sorry?
To see if I, give away being like, oh shit.
Oh, right, you're trying not to give it. Okay, fine. All right, you managed to keep whatever expression you had before. She wasn't actually looking in your direction. She was looking at Harathia while she said that. So she also kind of misses any expression that might have passed over your face.
In the meantime, you're welcome to come into the keep if you need any refreshment.
That would be delightful, Harathia.
In that case, and he'll offer his arm. He's curious what she does.
Interesting.
Let's hope it stays where it is attached to you, Harathia.
I'm not touching it. I'm just giving her the option to take it.
She slides her arm through yours and will walk with you to the keep.
I'm going to poke the same arm and be like, what? You've never done that for me?
Adalbert just turns to Ellie, just broad smile.
Zaymar leans over to Ellie and like, looking at, let's hope he hangs on to his arm there. So, well, he's braver than I am, that's for sure. And I'll wait until everybody else has moved off.
I'm going to wait, and then I'm going to be like, where's your arm, Zaymar?
Oh, good grief, really? Raining and dark. Like, who is... Oh, for God's sake. Okay. Grudgingly, like takes his arm out of his dry arm out of his cloak and then offers it, and now getting it wet. Walks Ellie up to the keep.
Okay, in this
Glares at Adalbear if he dares to. Looks smugly.
so, for example, on the pathway leading up to the keep, something like this. But where is Samita going to be?
She'll fall in line at the back.
Okay.
I will offer Smita my arm.
Then she will take that.
Okay,
I
so
thought
you're
you would
directly
take
behind.
Farmer's
Yep.
All right. Once you get to the keep, are you going straight to the meeting room? What's the plan?
She said she wanted to talk at Adalbert's place. So actually, I'm gonna. In fact, when we get in there, the plan, if you want to know in advance, is to order people out of their seats and to clear us an area where to sit. I guess, actually, to be honest, it'll be not in the main bar, but in the other bit where we normally have breakfast and stuff, which may not be occupied anyway.
Yeah, there's only 3 or 4 people in the keep at the moment because it's so early in the morning. It's kind of a weird time between early morning and late night. So you walk in, you move everyone away from where they're sitting. But did you want to go out the back or?
Well, that's what I was thinking.
Okay.
Because, well, correct me if I'm wrong, that area is a little bit smarter than the main bar area.
Yeah, you could argue that. Yeah, such a thing exists.
And that, I know it's like
I'm like,
in or whatever, isn't it?
is he going to take my seat? I don't believe it. He could sit anywhere. There's plenty of room in the main bar. Ridiculous.
All right,
Go to the front.
I'm assuming that Harathir is going to commandingly go and sit somewhere or stand by the chair at least. Which one do you want to go for?
Well, yeah, probably that one he's nearest to.
Okay.
I mean, he's not going to sit down first like he normally does. He's reining back his usual oafishness.
Okay. She heads towards the table and then moves off to the side and actually goes to the cliff edge and starts looking out to sea in a kind of. This is the first time she's been here, and she wants to sort of not take in the view because it's dark, but appreciate the wind flying in her face and things like that.
I'm gonna take Zima and be like, quick, shall we stand by your seat so she doesn't sit in it?
Let me. No. Let's. I'll be fine with the other. And I turn right and go to the table
This
on
one.
the right. Yes.
Okay, so Alicia, are you following?
No.
Okay.
Zamor sits down and looks reasonably dejected.
Oh.
Yeah, go ahead, Naz.
I'm gonna probably stay near the doorway.
Okay. So before Alicia and Zamo come in, you've got Adalbear and Raina.
Adalbear, you want to go first?
Like, Zamor is whispering under his, it's like, don't you dare. I've warned you about.
Which is your seat? Sorry, but
it's the one that faces out. It's the one. No,
oh,
no,
this one.
Okay. No.
This one. Okay.
Yeah, it's the one that looks out to sea.
All right. Fine. Okay. Sorry, Matt.
That's okay. I will stand a polite distance behind the princess and just say, it is a marvellous view. Would you care for company, or would you wish to talk to Herathia alone?
There's a moment when she doesn't quite hear what you're saying. She seems to be focused on other things. But she then turns around to you, and you notice you've been with her a little bit of time now. She always looks directly at the person who's talking, pretty much always. And she does so with a very intense kind of examination. And when you say that, her head sort of snaps around, and she's staring at you very closely. I am happy you are here, Inquisitor. Please do stay.
I nod, smile at Zama, and stand behind the seat.
Okay. Which one?
Breath is going to signal.
The seats.
Okay.
Breath is going to signal one of the guys with thieves' camp to get drinks.
All right. Cool.
Good drinks.
Can I sign again for pastries like I did last time?
Yeah, sure. But please do demonstrate that again. Okay. Meanwhile, Raina.
So
My goodness.
Smita is kind of waits for the exchange with Adalbert to be finished. She's still holding this Russian face mask that she's bought. And she'll approach, not too close, but just a few steps, and make herself known, just by asking her, "Princess?" And she keeps her head down and respectful, and showing the mask as a sort of gift towards her.
You're holding the mask out to her?
Yeah. And
Okay.
if she turns, I'll speak again if she doesn't have anything to say immediately.
All right, so hold that thought. So this is still when Adalbert had just spoken, so you're both still here. I would say that Zama's probably coming in and heading over right now, and Alicia's sort of heading this direction. The pastry thing is probably happening right now, so the guard will be sort of here. And there's one here, one here. One here, one here, one here. So, as you hold out the mask, and your face is uncovered,
yeah.
Her attention was with Adalbert, who was on the right-hand side, so she was sort of looking over her right shoulder, and still facing out to sea. She then turns to look in the direction of the voice, sees the mask, and then looks up at you. Thank you. And you are?
Okay, so to follow up, I will speak in Arassian. So I've sent you the message that she says first, and then she'll add in the common tongue, "I am Samita, envoy of the Empress."
Roll persuasion?
Oh, yes. That is a 23.
There is a pause where she's processing both what you said in Arassian and then what you said in common. Just to be clear to anyone watching, nobody else speaks Arassian.
Darn it.
Big gamble, but it worked.
Thank you. Your gift is welcome. You do know leaving Arashia is punishment. death.
Oh, that needs a moment. Hold on.
I should say so.
She will incline her head, and she will say, in Arassian again. Would you like me to write this to you as well then?
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't know.
Did she say that in English or
In common,
Russian?
yes.
So she said
Sorry, common.
punishment is death.
Mm.
Okay. I am going to shift slightly an edge round so that I've got a. I'm going to move over closer to my chair, and I am. No, not yeah, exactly. Just sidle up over. Yeah, exactly. Just sort of move over. Yeah, a little bit over to the left, please. Yeah, that's it. And I am going to hold an action to block.
Okay. What's the trigger?
Somebody attacking Raina.
If somebody attacks Raina. Okay, so Harathia, you're currently standing behind your chair. You were initially shoulder to shoulder with the princess with a slight gap. But you were facing in different directions. So she was facing out to sea and you were kind of turned more this way. But you can adjust where you are.
Yeah, I want to be able to see both Raina and the princess.
Okay. So you're now square on to those two.
Yeah.
All right. Everyone can react to this while Raina Samita is speaking in Arassian. Baha is also moving in and very deliberately putting his shoulder against yours, Adalbert, and kind of pushing through so that he's slightly in front of you. It's up to you how you react.
I will kind of make space, but at the same time kind of put my hand down. So as essentially block and say, don't do anything just yet.
I'm gonna do something stupid.
Oh, God.
But you guys don't know. You guys don't know.
No,
I
no.
think she's within 30 feet of me. The princess.
The princess is within 5, 10, 15 feet of you.
Fine. Okay, so I'm not going to do anything. But if she makes any move to try and hurt Raina, I have prepared a spell.
Okay.
You need to know the spell.
So if you... So the trigger that Zamar's setting up doesn't cost him anything. If you set up a trigger that's a spell, you do lose the spell if you don't use it. So
Yeah.
I would say just hold it for... Oh. Adalbert is also gaming the system. I'm gonna after this stream, I'm gonna have to have a think about this. But for now, as usual, I will.
Have you given Raina inspiration?
Not to be murdered.
So Harathia hasn't said anything for a while.
Oh dear. There's rules, damn it. No, I'm joking.
Princess, nobody here means you no harm. Now, for what it's worth, I didn't know Samita was a Rassian. But while she's in the keep, I consider it, I don't know, diplomatic if you didn't carry out the punishment.
So first, the princess was listening to Samita talking in Arassian, and then her gaze switches to you, Harathia, as you talk in common. When she receives what you say, Samita, she listens and she's started to think about something, but there's no initial reaction. Her face is extremely studied now. It's a very there's a casual sort of smirk, if you like, on her face that's locked in position. She's keeping everything hidden at the moment. She turns to you, Horatia. Horatia, if I need punishment to this person, I would request you deal punishment.
So it seems like the big question is, do you require it?
No. Shall we eat? And she heads over to the table.
Good question. Did you take the mask from me?
No. She actually. There's a lot of conversation happened, and you were holding this mask out, and it's like everything suddenly changed, and she just walked off towards the table.
Okay. I will.
So she ignores the mask.
How much gold was that?
That was tense.
Yeah.
That was probably Game of Thrones tense, that was.
You've done this, Simon.
Oh, she's sitting in Zamar's seat.
Yeah. So
she this now, like, turning around, and then like everything was going great, and then it's like, oh, you've averted one thing, and now bollocks, she's singing my set. That's just.
So that's where she's going, but obviously
no.
I'm
turning right. No, I turn away and go and sit back over at the seat on the right-hand side. It's fine.
If I can.
Zamar whips the seat away just as she sits there.
If I can, as she begins to move, I'll just turn away, first looking relieved to her, but then when Zamar is still standing beside Alethea, I'll just offer a slight smile and a wink, and that's it. And I'll go and join Alethea by the door.
A slight smile and a wink to Zamar.
To Zamar and Alethea.
I will actually, as Samitra is going over, I with my foot, I just push the chair open slightly, so that it sort of turns it around to Samitra as she's.
Okay.
All right.
Then
okay.
I'll go over and join Zamar.
So, how much are you trying to hide that wink?
Well, I'm hoping that with my back entirely to the rest, so I'll be walking in that direction and just pass it to them.
Okay. Roll stealth with advantage.
Okay.
Is this your way, Simon, of getting rid of that inspiration?
Well, no, because it's advantage already, so...
Okay. It's definitely stealth, then it's 11.
But that would have been funny, wouldn't it?
Oh my God, yeah.
11?
Yeah. Yeah, if she can see through me, then... that will be...
You also nodded.
No, I
smile. Oh, it's smile and wink, sorry.
Wink, smile. It's sort of literally from my back, I'm hoping it doesn't show anything.
When you rolled a 1, and you actually...
You winked at her by accident.
Snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. Okay.
All right. So Alethea's just order pastries. This guard heads off to go and get drinks and pastries. Did you want to get some food as well, Horatia?
Yeah, I suppose. Again, was half decent.
Okay. Adalbert, where are you going?
Can I go to the seat to the left of the princess?
Sure.
I am going to look from table to table and then look beseechingly at Adalbert and Zamar to tell me what to do because I don't know.
Zamar's not looking. He's basically, he's got his ear cocked in the general direction of the conversation.
I'll smile and nod. I think it's Adalbert's mind. Ellie is one of the people who can actually have down-to-earth conversation with anyone. So he won't summon her, but he'll smile and nod to say it's okay. as it were.
I'll sheepishly make my way. What do I understand that? Yeah, I'd understand that. My insight's pretty good. I'd sheepishly make my way over there. Like you
Okay.
can see the reluctance.
Okay. Bran has been carefully walking around from different angles constantly throughout this conversation, so that he's always flanking behind the princess. He's had to move around a lot so far.
If
Right.
he catches, if Frater catches Bran's eye, he'll shake his head. Just yeah, just a little bit. So he
Alright.
makes it.
What does that mean? Stop smelling or something like that?
He goes over to the wall where I've put him and sort of curls up a bit and lies down on the ground with his head facing your table, and then licks his jaws slowly. Meanwhile, having sat down, the princess, her gaze snaps back over to you, Samita, and there's a brief moment where she's almost glaring in your direction. And then she turns to Horathia. Horathia, I have some important question.
All right, go ahead.
This person, you know her well?
No, I don't. Met for the first time we got back here.
And she is what to you?
She being an envoy from the Empress. We can't have dealings with the Empress, so we got dealings with her. Business.
And I assume, Grand Inquisitor, that you have, how do you say, looked at her?
In what sense, Princess?
My common is not very good. Corruption. You have done what you do.
I have not explored corruption fully, but I have assessed she has not lied to us. She has not deceived us in any way.
Right. But you have not done what you need to do.
I'm gonna go like.
What was that expression, Maz?
I'm not gonna say anything, as if I'm going to, and then I go.
Well, her gaze immediately snaps to you, and she raises
I'm just like
one
looking
eyebrow.
at the table. I'm just looking at the table.
Okay. Meanwhile, you can hear some quiet music coming from the other table.
So, Princess, what you're saying is you want Adalbert to do his thing on her now? He sort of grins slowly.
She tilts her head slightly. Horathia, I feel... joke somewhere, maybe?
No, it's just weren't quite how I was expecting this conversation to go. Yeah, maybe I'm quite enjoying it.
Her head snaps over to Samita again as you're playing. And then she turns to Adalbert again.
As Horathia said, Princess, we have not long arrived back and have just met her. She is showing no immediate signs of higher level corruption. Does not mean to say she is not, but...
Excuse me.
Not at all.
Quite all right. Your Majesty.
This... excuse me. This music...
I notice her reaction.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious.
Okay. Does she look in my direction?
No, all you can see from where you are is a slight side-on glimpse of her face and her head shaking just for a moment. And you can probably see tears, but it's up to you to roll perception to catch that.
Okay.
Yeah, Horathia is perplexed. It's just music. So what?
That is a 14 on perception.
Yeah, so you can also just make out the glistening of tears. There are lamps, oil lamps on the walls around here just to keep the tables lit, so you can see off the oil lamp light the tears.
Okay. I will play the song to an ending, but slowly over the next 20 seconds or so, looking straight ahead, not paying it, like, you know, I looked at her and then I'm just back to playing, making no particular point of it.
Out of my healing kit, because I've got nothing else, I'm gonna take like a fresh, clean soft cloth and offer it to her.
Okay, so she is still tears coming down her face, and she sort of instinctively holds out a hand for the cloth and takes the cloth. She's kind of staring almost into empty space while this is going on, and just listening to the music and her eyes welling up. She takes the cloth and starts dabbing at the eyes. She has got some makeup, so the cloth starts to blacken from mascara, etc.
Is the tune familiar to you, Princess?
Roll persuasion.
12.
She seems caught up in something and unable to respond or hear you clearly.
You can make her stop if you want.
Roll intimidation.
Crack his knuckles a little bit.
Zaymar hears this, he's just like, oh, how did I manage to sit in a place that...
It's attracting attention.
You know, I've got disadvantages. I think anyone who's been watching knows. But I've got very, very good intimidation skills. However, my worst roll was a 1 and my best roll was a 3.
Aww.
So I know natural ones don't apply in these sort of things, do they? I mean, yes, it's above 10, but it's not.
Yeah, it's very hard to break through right now. She's captivated by the music, and you already saw this when she was walking along the honor guard. That it's quite easy for her to be concentrating on something and not really pay attention to what else is going on. She's currently concentrating on the music, which is now finishing, you said, Kevin?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. There's a period of silence as the music stops, and you can just hear the rain and the wind.
Has the food not got a...
It takes a bit longer than that to get the food ready.
All right, the drink though, because he can bollock someone to break the silence.
Yeah, the guard does come over the through the gap there, and starts putting drinks on the table.
And I grab a piece a pastry on my plate, break it up, and then marzipan.
Ah, yes. Yeah, Marzipan pokes their head out through from the little pouch and starts nibbling. The princess stops staring into space, looks down at the table for a moment, and then... Excuse me, Arathia, I was somewhere else.
Where? Do you want a drink?
Yes, actually, yes. What do you have? And she starts looking down at the drinks on the table.
They're saying the fanciest joint ain't meant to be, but this is the best we got.
But would you like some pastries? Marzipan likes them.
Thank you, Alicia. That would be wonderful. And she's still thinking, but she reaches her hand out almost automatically and takes a pastry and starts breaking it into small pieces.
Are you okay?
Sorry, carry on, Nat.
Were those happy tears or sad ones?
They are tears of regret and death.
So sad. I'm sorry.
And she stands up, suddenly pushing her chair back, looks over towards you, Samita, and says, "Ree?"
Stand up.
Holding
No.
that action again.
Karetha's going to stand up too. There's no way he's staying seated while she stood.
Let the hair loose and nod once. Find my confidence again and just walk about half the distance. And I'll say, it's been a long time, Maya.
Ree? And she runs across the room, well, the space, and actually gives you a massive hug.
Okay, I'll kind of catch her, more keeping my cool, but there's definitely kind of the mask falling down as well, and she just embraces her very, very tightly.
And as the two women hug in the middle of the rain and the wind, with a cocked eyebrow from Bran as he's watching, we will end the session there.
Oh, can we play another hour?
How many identities do you have, Kevin? I'm just curious.
That would be telling.
It's like you're like an ogre. Ogres are like onions, you know.
That's the best way to do it. Zamar is mildly impressed. Oh dear. Good one.
Oh my god. I was so worried that I was going to have to, like, protect poor Raina, but no! She's a freaking
Yeah, I was
princess!
just like, oh god, this is all going to kick off again, and then
I was thinking I was going to have to execute her.
I know. Well, I've got to tell you, Zamar already had a plan for like that.
Yeah, I was thinking that I was going to have to go up agast Rathia if
I know,
Rathia wanted to execute.
Zamar had a plan for all of that. Somebody could ask him the question.
Zamar was like this.
Yeah,
in
I
the
was
chat.
already plotting.
Don't worry, Reina has like 15 plans as well, so that
Yeah.
would have been a beautiful mess that we would have made together.
Yeah, yes.
This
Conflicting
is
plans,
Raina.
two people trying to execute something. Oh, yeah.
Oh my god.
Right.
Shit, is Raina a dragon?
Now we can ask. We could ask that, but don't answer.
Either that, or well, if so, then Serene's not very bloody good. For somebody who's just been like, you are clean, you are not a dragon. Later,
Well, she did say she wasn't sure. She'd just done one test, right? But there was more to do.
This is why I told you, Serene's full of shit.
It's just like, I mean, she's got a bit like, I'm going to say then, if that's the case, then Serene's the worst dragon hunter ever. Like dragons all over the place, dragons everywhere, and she's just like, la la la, I'm a dragon hunter.
One of Zamar's onion layers. He's a dragon as well.
We're all dragons.
All right.
I am a dragon. No, I am a dragon.
I'm Spartacus.
I am a dragon.
Oh, great. By the way, great job, Kevin. That was perfect.
was.
You as well.
Amazing.
That was awesome.
Really good.
Yeah.
I really want to know what you used the inspiration of the gods for. Sorry, message from the gods for.
Should I share?
No.
No, I didn't think so.
It was just like, Serene's a rubbish dragon hunter.
Go for it, yeah.
That's a Twitch
It's
channel.
okay, we thought we were in trouble. It's no problem whatsoever.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, go ahead, Matt.
How long does inspiration actually last for? I forget.
Well, this is not. Well, I'm not using the official inspiration
Okay.
rule, so you're only supposed to be allowed to have one at any one time, but I'm allowing 3 at the moment. Basically, because I'm copying Kevin. But yeah, we'll see.
And attach that. If the rules change now that Ellie and I have cheated the system slightly, would the inspiration stay even though it's no longer legal?
Oh yeah.
Oh, good.
I'm not going to remove it.
Yeah,
Not use it on anyone else. I've had it for ages.
If we,
You know, like
oh no admiration.
My poncho knocked it off.
I think, like, you know, I think that's what we should do. That any points that we get from watching, we can just, any guests that we have, we can give it all to them.
For guests, yeah, it's fine.
Well, I'm holding off right now because I've got 4,500 points. I don't want to influence the story while I'm in it. So
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, who would do that? All right, so to those watching, this is the moment in the stream when we move to questions for the players and for myself. So if you have any questions and you'd like to ask, please do post in chat. Let me know who the question is for, and I will try and get to it if I can.
And before we move on,
Oh yes,
I
sorry,
just wanted to say
go for it.
this week's. So I've not been hyping this up as much as I should, but as you can tell, I'm not sleeping. My life is a mess. It's not, but like it's busy. We are doing a dice giveaway. The dice giveaway is still running. Beholder's dice are beautiful. I literally want to buy the whole store. And we are giving you a £25 gift card plus a little ruined keep thingamajigget gift. And all you have to do is join. The link is on our Twitter. And you can, do loads of stuff like follow us and retweet us, etc. But the code word for this week, which gives you 20 extra points, was Mayanara. Which I shall, I don't think I need to spell that. Do I need to spell that?
It's like you're in my head.
Yeah, lots of A's.
An extra 2 bonus points if you spell it correct automatically.
Yes.
No, I don't think I could add that on, but it's like Myanmar. There you go.
Well, all I can say is that if the code word for next week is death, I shan't be joining you.
no, for next week it's out the window.
Yeah.
Everyone jump, there's a cliff just there. Yeah. All right, so first question is for Kevin. Raina seems like a fairly quiet character. What problems does that give you as a player, considering how outspoken the other characters are?
Honestly, I don't think many. So, sometimes it's a little hard to get in between because I don't want to break up the conversation that's happening. So one time you saw that I forgot my question after the conversation had concluded. But outside of that, nothing really, because it really suits the situation where Reina is, she's in very unfamiliar waters and she needs to take it all in. And she is a very observant character based on her background. So it actually suits her very well that all the other people are talking. Because when they are talking, they are telling her information that she doesn't know yet. So when she doesn't have to prompt them to do it, then that's even better. That's like her job being done for her.
Cool. I just realised I've got the same background as last week. Whoops. Never mind. It was a beautiful background. Question for Matt. How important to Adalbert is personality compared to knowledge in a person?
That's a good question.
I think he'd instinctively say, it's important that we all know things, but at the same time, it's the personalities of the keep that are growing on him as opposed to what they know, which I won't comment on. But it's that idea of he kind of immediately is drawn towards knowledge, towards understanding, but it's people that grow on him.
Interesting.
Slowly.
Yeah. All right. Question for Mads. You seem to have a lot of fun dealing with Alithia's ghosts from last week. How much do you mind as a player that Alithia's point of view is often bypassed by the group?
I actually, as a player, love it. I think it's so much fun. It is actually ridiculous, and I think it will be really interesting to see how that changes and grows, if it changes and grows. Because yes, she is ridiculous. Like she's not like an intelligence dump stat person, but it makes sense. She is a charisma dump stat person. And she is like weird and like has strange ideas and doesn't really know how to act. And like if you're not sociable, people don't necessarily listen to you or respect you or pay attention to you unless you're kind of big and brusque, which she isn't. So I think it works really well in terms of how this would be if it were real, if that makes sense. So yeah, I love it. I think I find it hilarious.
All right. It certainly leads to entertaining scenes. Harathia, now that Serene's purpose is a bit clearer, does Harathia think any differently about her?
Yeah, he does. I'm not sure he could put his finger on it, but yeah. I mean, she's clearly dangerous and susceptible to corruption, so difficult to trust. But there's some hint of a possible reason behind all that, which means that she might be useful, and useful is a big thing for her here.
Interesting. Okay. And a question from Kevin: which is bigger, Harathia or his ego?
This is from Kevin, isn't it? Because I saw him type it earlier.
Yeah.
He's, bear in mind, he's 7 foot tall and almost as wide. It's his ego.
Perfect.
Question for Mr. Harris. Zaymar warned Raina about the danger that Serene presents. Did he feel particularly protective over her for some reason?
Okay, so so this is sort of something that that obviously Raina wouldn't know, so you can close your ears if you like, but his main, what was interesting was that he could totally get behind Serene now, he was kind of like, oh, okay, I get her better now. It was kind of like, so yeah, so in the same way that Horathia was kind of like, okay, like you're not a nutcase, so we can see that there's a reason and a purpose for what you're doing. So he was being protective of Reyna, but he's more the reason he's protective of it is because we have, as Horathia said, business with the Empress. And so he doesn't want the Empress's envoy dying on Ruined Keep grounds. It's probably the best way. And yeah, and so while he would respect Serene for taking out Reyna if it turned out she was a dragon, and I think it probably stopped short of helping. But basically he was kind of like, yeah, this is not going to help the Ruined Keep if her envoy dies. And yeah, so far Serene is just Serene. There isn't any, she's got like a boat and whatever, and it's Golden Leaf, so it just doesn't help if the envoy of the Empress gets assassinated on Ruined Keep property. So am I protective? Yes.
Okay.
Long way of answering.
All right, Kevin, you can listen again. All right, good answer.
Oh, well done, sir.
All right, a question for Kevin. You mentioned that Reyna is getting sucked into the story at the Ruined Keep. How difficult was it to keep Reyna on her mission?
Oof, I think quite difficult, because she came in, with rather a vague mission. So she already had to kind of plan ahead for herself based on what she knew, and then everything that she found out completely changed the situation, like completely elevated it onto another plane of existence almost. And now she's had to basically on the fly just adjust, and she's in some very very dangerous territory, and she is really trying to just stay afloat until she can find a moment of peace and sort of, okay, this is what I have, and this is how I'm gonna go at it from now on. But I think so far, she's good on her feet, so it has kind of shown as she's just taking everything in as it goes.
All right. Matt, how excited is Adalbert at the prospect that there may be dragons?
Very. As kind of you said, he's been convinced that they've been extinct for thousands of years, and there is so little knowledge about them. It's not only that, especially the fact they exist, which is incredibly exciting what we can learn, but also part of the fact that he knows they exist. So all of that knowledge, all of the discoveries, like academic papers signed by Adalbert, kind of cement that name in the great
Discoverer of
libraries.
Dragons.
Yeah.
And same question for Matt. How excited is Alicia?
About the dragons? I don't think she had the opportunity to be excited as yet, just because, the dragons came along with this whole thing about death and killing them. And essentially, I'm not sure if this counts as genocide or if it counts as extinction. I feel like it's more like genocide because dragons are sentient. So, yeah, that's not something she's comfortable with. So she's not even been able to, come across that there is this amazing magical creature, that there's so much to kind of, so much more of, nature's, wonder and nature's diversity to see and experience. None of that has come across yet. It's all like, shit, this is getting real, and we really need to kind of make headway on this corruption. And I think she was trying to get other people on board from that perspective. It's just not. Deaf ears, everyone.
Yeah. All right. Question for Mr. Roberts. It seems as though Horathia was losing the plot as ghosts and dragons became the topic of conversation. What was he feeling at the time?
Just a bit. a bit lost. There's just too much stuff. The idea that the magic is real. He's coping with that. He's not a fool. He's seen magic. He knows it exists. Fine. Dragons, and then ghosts. It was just the randomness. The WTF. It was like, yeah. So that was. It was just. That's what it was.
All right. Question from Mr. Harris. Zamar seemed curious about the theories on planes of existence. How interested is he in the scholarly side of the arcane?
I mean, he needs to. He wants to understand everything in case it's like a threat or whatever. So yeah, he's generally interested in this whole sort of planes of existence thing or whatever, just because the idea of not knowing about something makes it dangerous. So so knowledge is a path to being safer. So in his immense quest for just trying to create a little bit of safety around himself, yeah, he's interested in multiple planes of existence and stuff like that, but not really from the arcane point of view, because he doesn't really understand it. It's like this place here. He's much more on Harathia's side with like things you can see, touch, or whatever. On the whole weird following gods and all the rest of that stuff is very. Yeah, he finds that very strange.
All right. Question for Kevin: which member of the Golden Leaf gang would Raina most like to learn from, and why?
Ooh. I think there are two answers to that question. In the face of all of the unknown that she's facing, I think it's definitely the Grand Inquisitor, Adalbert. It's sort of a need almost. She has to sit down with him at some point, and pore over those books and pick his brain and just get the opinion of someone more learned than she is, because I think she acknowledges her limitations, but on a personal level, from what she's seen so far, I think she definitely has like a sideways eye on Zamar, just because he seems to exhibit traits of people that if she doesn't respect, at least knows that they can be very effective in the same arenas that she is. So she's definitely interested in seeing if there are maybe an exchange of knowledge to be had in some fashion, and see how far they get.
Yeah, Zamar knows an operator when he sees one.
All right. Question for Matt: how does Adalbert? What was that? Sorry.
Spy buddies.
Yeah. How does Adalbert deal and feel about responsibility?
Was he reflecting today? Or in general responsibility?
In general, yeah.
In a sense, he kind of wants to be so far up the pecking order that he actually has very little responsibility. It's just, like the dean or something. In terms of he's very self-involved in terms of his work, his research, and kind of his interests. So while he wants to be recognized and praised with all that adoration, he doesn't want that self-entitled kid who wants all the glory without having to do much of the responsibility. Like, he's happy to have his name on the papers, do all that sort of research, but the day-to-day running of things, it's just like, someone can do that while I read.
Responsibility with glory, but no effort.
Yes, exactly.
All right. So my next question, I think you might have already answered with the previous one, Mads, but Alithia appeared to firmly side with the right for dragons to live. What made her jump so quickly? I don't know if there's anything else to add to that.
Genocide.
Yeah.
Like, being not on the side of genocide is typically, the better way to be.
All right, let's ask a different question then. If you're siding with dragons, how do you feel about the Astravi?
How do I feel about the Astravi? I mean, like, I don't quite understand. She's known about... So the Astravi is, like, related to the dragons. She has no issue with Astravi per se. And, like, she recognizes that, you know, they've got something about them that's a bit shadowy, that's different. And I think she recognizes it comes from somewhere different. But that's a part of them. Like, it doesn't make them evil any more than those bug things were evil. It just is. But there are certain Astravi she doesn't like Starrick. Because you can be corrupted, but that doesn't mean you have to go be a dick about it.
Fair. All right. Question for Mr. Roberts. Envoys from the Empress, princesses from Arasia, commanders of the Black Legion, the Ruined Keep is suddenly a multicultural meeting spot. How does Harathia view that?
Yeah, as a character, I'm just thinking Babylon 5.
Yeah.
So in character, well, you know, that's all good. Actually, it means that it's important, and by extension, Harathia is important. And I'm not entirely sure, or rather, maybe I'm not just telling you, whether Harathia hasn't got the same sort of need to be important as Adalbert, for instance. But he does have a desire to have influence. I mean, you know, the way he goes about his well, the way he in his mind takes control of situations is a very local phenomenon. You know, so there's a battle, and he owns the battle. He wants to own more than just the battle.
All right, interesting. Question for Mr. Harris. Which of the 3 recent visitors does Zaymar worry about the most?
Obviously the princess, you know, it's clearly the most... I mean, I want to say the princess because she's the most overt danger, you know, and like, despite being literally run through by Serene earlier in his existence, he doesn't see her as a threat because she's on the side of the Huntress. So, yeah, it's just the randomness of that's the thing. It's the unpredictability of the princess. Like Reyna, he's like, at least thinks, he can keep her at arm's length or whatever. And it's like, he's, you know, I don't know whether he thinks that he's not exactly lulled into a false sense of security or anything like that, but the princess has clearly done things that are outside the realms of, like, how the hell did you move so quickly, etc., etc. And when it comes to that, it's just kind of, yeah, there's no contest really. So yeah, he's extremely uncomfortable with the princess even being here, and he'd really much rather go to bed. Thank you very much.
Okay.
How do you think Alithia feels? She's going to stay in her bloody treehouse.
I thought
he was just laughing internally. So the reason he was laughing so much was because you totally brought it on yourself. Just exquisite.
There was no way I was going to miss that opportunity. I wouldn't have cared whose house she stayed in, but it was just...
Yeah.
I have to say that giving me that choice was brilliant. That came out of nowhere. I was like, what would she choose?
But also, I have to say, from a acting royally, etc., and trying to be diplomatic about it, and choosing when you're presented 2 offerings and you don't want to give offence to the other person, accepting both in a way, that is just brilliant. I thought that was really good. Like, yeah, I thought it was amazing. Yeah.
All right. Last question for Kevin. If Reyna could change one thing about Trillin, what would it be?
Oof. One thing about Trillin. No, the rain is actually fine. I think if she could change one thing, it would be that that there was at least some pocket that wasn't completely dominated by the golden leaf. Someone that she could, an exit strategy, or at least someone that she could interface with. That she doesn't have to think, this person's definitely reporting this to the keep, and there's no safe haven that she can find, which is not a comfortable thought to her. Hi.
All right.
Look, we were just
Treehouse,
we were indicating the two safe havens.
With the princess, it'd be fine.
Yeah.
Final question for Matt. If Adalbert could get a new mask to his design, you were talking about it earlier, what would it look like?
I don't think he'd actually change it that much. What Adalbert really likes about the mask, apart from its kind of shininess, is the fact it is faceless. So kind of back when he was doing more Inquisition jobs, he could do it without it challenging who he was in his ideals. It's kind of like working behind the mask. And it is the idea is, having just this expressionless, I mean, to those who are new, there are no features. There are two eye holes, and otherwise it's slips onto his headband, but it's just a kind of sheet, plain kind of goldy coloured metal. And it's the idea, it's instantly recognisable in the fact that it's so distinctly plain, but at the same time it does kind of protect his identity. So I don't think he would change it. What I think he might kind of look at is, are there additional, for example, if he's kind of building into it, he can't imagine Herathia donning a mask, for example, but can he get that power kind of into a ring? Or can he get that power into a headband? Or can he get that power into something else that can be worn and doesn't take away his glory as like the Masked Inquisitor?
Okay, interesting. Question for Mads. Last question. Has Alithia ever considered taking up a musical instrument?
I don't know. Has Alithia ever considered taking up a musical instrument? No, she has not. She probably has tried at some point at Restway, because I'm sure there were songs of praise and things like that. But she has not, because she does not have the staying power for that.
Interesting. Okay.
Be like, oh, okay. Like, she is able to kind of focus and do things that are important. And music is lovely, but it's not important. Do you know what I mean? She'd like much rather be out and about somewhere, making friends with the animals.
Gardening or something, yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. Last question for Mr. Roberts. Has Herathia ever considered taking up a musical instrument?
That's going to be a short question and answer, that one. No, why would he? What's the point?
Right, and
as one could say, the sword sings as you swing, as he swings it.
Yeah, it's the song of death.
And final question of the evening for Mr. Harris. Is Zamar any closer to understanding what friendship might be?
I think so. It's possible. But it comes from a place of... you need somebody else to sort of... he thinks that he might have an idea of what it is, but it's a purely analytical I have observed this thing. I think I could probably, not exactly fake it, but reproduce it. He's not really sure. His biggest problem is that he's not really sure that if he reproduces it super accurately, is that in fact friendship? And that's what keeps him up at night. It's like he's not really sure.
I can imagine Tamar just lying in bed completely still. Right?
It's like, if I am doing the thing, am I really doing it?
It's very philosophical.
Yep.
Oh
And
my
I
God.
need everybody else to contemplate that for the next week.
Everyone come up with answers for next week. Yeah.
Oh my God.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for watching. If you haven't followed us already, then please do follow us and subscribe. We will be streaming again next week at the same time, 8 p.m. UK time. Any follow-up from you, Mads?
So I have not been active, and I have no idea what's happening in the TTRPG world because I've not opened Twitter. Work sucks, guys. Just work in general, not my work. What was I gonna say? Thank you for everyone who interacts with us, who loves us and is kind to us, because you are amazing and we love it very much and we appreciate you very much. Thank you to all of the wonderful people on Hope for TTRPG's Discord server. Those of you, I'm not very active, as I have said, I've not been active on social media, but those of you who have kind of, popped in with us, you're wonderful. That's really kind. And thanks to Tabletop TV, which is Kevin's amazing project. And you should follow all of the wonderful streams on there. There's like a huge variety. They're all really interesting. And thanks
out to Maps and Quests.
Yeah, and,
Yes.
and thanks to
Yes.
Maps and Quest for the amazing Ruin Keep map.
What's the URL? Is it just, I guess we just Google
He's on
it?
Twitter at n_quests, I think.
Cool.
I can post it in again, but yeah.
Yeah,
And do watch Tales of Adir on Sunday,
Yes.
which is Kevin's
and
stream.
and join our dice giveaway. Like, they're really nice. They're super amazing. You can get free dice. Like, what's going on, guys? Yeah,
All right, cool.
that's it.
All right, thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.